Do you believe that humanity is not as permanent as we think? Or do you believe that our cities, our monuments, our species will stand forever? What if, in the quiet turning of the earth, we are already walking into the next great extinction? The truth is, the near extinction of existence on Earth has almost happened before. Not once, not twice, but 5 times. 5 times in Earth's history, life itself has been brought to the edge of total annihilation. Entire worlds erased, oceans emptied, skies poisoned, forests burned, and each time more than 3/4 of all species vanished. Forever. Yet here we are, lucky and fragile survivors of those ancient resets. But scientists warn that a 6th extinction may already be unfolding. Maybe it will come from the heavens, riding a fragment of rock that already has a date written on our calendar. Or perhaps it rises from the weapons we have built ourselves, waiting silently in silos. Or maybe it has already begun. 3 possible doors, 3 possible futures, all leading to the same question. Will we survive the 6th? To understand our future, we must first step into our past. Because Earth has carried us to the brink of extinction before. The Ordovician seas, the Devonian forests, the Permian infernos, the Triassic oceans, the Cretaceous impact, 5 cataclysms, 5 resets. And each time, life began again, but never the same way as it once was. I'm Alex Turner. This is the story of Earth's 5 great extinctions, and the shadow of the 6th that looms ahead. The first extinction, the end Ordovician, 444 million years ago. 86% of life lost. The first great extinction began in silence. 444 million years ago, Earth was a world of shallow seas teeming with trilobites, corals, and armored fish. But then the climate swung violently. Glaciers surged across Gondwana as intense glacial and interglacial cycles pulled oceans back and locked water into ice. Seas drained, shorelines retreated, and just as suddenly, the ice melted. Floods returned. Shorelines shifted again. Meanwhile, tectonic forces had lifted the Appalachian Mountains. Their fresh rock weathered quickly, pulling carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The air cooled the planet even further. As shorelines shifted and ocean chemistry changed, oceans lost oxygen and life collapsed. Life could not adapt. 86% of species drowned in the chaos. Trilobites dwindled. Yet from the ruins, survivors like tiny brachiopods, primitive fish, and early sponges endured. The seas slowly refilled with life, giving rise to different, smaller, and more resilient worlds. The second extinction, the late Devonian, 360 million years ago, 75% of life lost. Then came the Devonian, known as the Age of Fishes. Coral reefs stretched across thousands of kilometers. Armored placoderms ruled the oceans. But on land, something remarkable was happening. Plants, forests expanded in a great green surge. Roots split rocks. Rivers carried soil to the sea. Carbon dioxide levels plummeted. The planet cooled. The oceans, starved of oxygen, suffocated. Scientists call it anoxic collapse. Reefs died. The fish crashed. The entire ecosystem choked in slow motion. 75% of species disappeared, but the forests remained towering and were unshaken. In their shadow, amphibians and the first insects stepped cautiously onto land, and slowly, Earth's stage was reset once again. The third extinction, the end Permian, 250 million years ago, 96% of life lost. The Great Dying. This was Earth's darkest hour. 250 million years ago, volcanic fury erupted in Siberia with lava fields the size of continents. For nearly 1 million years, lava poured from the crust, building mountains of basalt. Carbon dioxide flooded the skies. Temperatures soared. Sulfur and hydrogen sulfide seeped into oceans, making them toxic and acidic. Methane bursts from the seafloor supercharged the greenhouse. Rain turned to acid. Forests died. Oceans stagnated as they were poisoned and stripped of oxygen. 96% of all species perished. Insects, fish, amphibians, forests. Almost nothing survived. Surprisingly, a few did. Hardy reptiles, small burrowers, bacteria that thrived in poisoned seas. This was the closest Earth has ever come to complete sterilization. And yet, life clawed back. From its survivors would rise the ancestors of the dinosaurs. The fourth extinction, the end Triassic, 200 million years ago, 80% of life lost. From the ashes of the Permian, life slowly healed. Giant amphibians stalked swamps. Early reptiles diversified. But 200 million years ago, as Pangaea began to tear itself apart, the Earth split open again. Underwater volcanic activity in the Central Atlantic Magmatic Province was one of the largest volcanic events in history and released a staggering amount of carbon dioxide. This led to an accelerated global warming. Oceans turned acidic. Ecosystems collapsed once again. 80% of all species vanished. But one group of survivors thrived in the emptiness. The dinosaurs seized the opportunity. From that devastation, they rose to dominance, filling empty ecosystems with new power and scale. The fifth extinction, the end Cretaceous, 65 million years ago, 76% of life lost. 65 million years ago, the end came in fire from the heavens. An asteroid, 10 kilometers wide, slammed into the Yucatan Peninsula of modern-day Mexico. The impact unleashed an energy greater than all nuclear weapons combined. Shockwaves circled the planet. Tsunamis leveled coasts. Forests ignited and then darkness. Dust and sulfur filled the sky, blocking the sun for years. Global temperatures plummeted. Photosynthesis collapsed. 76% of species perished. The great dinosaurs, rulers of Earth for 160 million years, fell in weeks. But not everything died. Tiny mammals hidden in burrows. Birds, the last of the dinosaurs. In the silence that followed, mammals began their ascent. And in time, they became us, to the potential sixth extinction. 5 times the Earth has been undone. 5 times life has fallen to its knees, and yet, each time survivors carried the torch forward, reshaping the planet in ways no one could predict. But now, for the first time, it is different, because for the first time in history, one species knows it is in danger, and that species is us. A sixth extinction does not loom only in volcanoes or asteroids. It looms in our own hands. Which threat will strike first? And will humanity, the only species aware of its own fragility, become the destroyer or the savior? Threat 1. The asteroid threat. Bennu, 2182. High above us, an ancient threat circles the sun. Its name is Bennu, a half-kilometer of rock, traveling at nearly 100,000 kilometers an hour. Most asteroids pass harmlessly by. But Bennu is different. Its orbit is unstable. And calculations predict that on September 24th, 2182, Bennu could strike Earth. The probability is small, around 1 in 2,700. But in cosmic terms, that is uncomfortably high. If it hits, the force would equal 22 atomic bombs for every human alive today. Cities would vaporize, forests would burn, tsunamis would sweep coasts. And yet, unlike the dinosaurs, we know it is coming. NASA's OSIRIS-REx mission has already visited Bennu, mapped it, and brought back samples. Planetary defense systems are being designed. Kinetic impactors, even nuclear devices are being considered. to push a rock like Bennu off course. But technology is nothing without will. If we delay, if we hesitate, the story of Earth's sixth extinction could begin with a rock we saw coming but chose to ignore. Threat 2, the nuclear winter, World War III. But perhaps the end will not come from the heavens, but from us. More than 12,000 nuclear warheads lie waiting across the globe, in silos, on submarines, in planes. If even a fraction were launched, the explosions themselves would be devastating because cities would be gone in seconds, tens of millions dead. But the greater threat would come after. Scientists call it nuclear winter. Firestorms would consume entire regions. Soot and ash would rise into the stratosphere, spreading worldwide. Within weeks, the sky would darken, sunlight would vanish, global temperatures could fall by 10 to 20 degrees, crops would fail, famine would spread, billions would starve. It would be the Ordovician ice all over again, but this time triggered by human hands. And unlike past extinctions, the weapon would not be Earth's. It would be made by human hands. Threat 3, the Anthropocene extinction. Has it already commenced? Or maybe the sixth extinction has already begun. Today, species are disappearing at up to 1,000 times the natural background rate. Frogs, birds, insects, mammals. Rainforests are cut down at the rate of 10 million hectares every year. Coral reefs, nurseries for a quarter of all marine life, are bleaching and dying. The Arctic is melting twice as fast as the rest of the planet. Scientists warn we are entering a new epoch called the Anthropocene, the age of humans. But it may also be the age when humans become the asteroid. Unlike Bennu, this extinction is slow, creeping, almost invisible. A slow and steady collapse of the web of life that sustains us. And the danger is not just for other species, it is for us. If ecosystems collapse, agriculture falters. If oceans warm, fisheries die. If pollinators vanish, crops fail. Climate instability could uproot entire civilizations. This is not just about saving animals, it is about saving ourselves. Because a planet in ecological freefall cannot sustain 8 billion human beings. Humanity is at a crossroads. Are we the destroyer or savior? So here we stand, between fire and ice, between rock and ruin. Unlike trilobites or dinosaurs or Permian forests, we know what is coming. We can predict orbits, measure carbon dioxide, and model nuclear winter. We are the only species in Earth's history to see its own possible extinction before it happens. And that gives us a choice. We can continue down the path of destruction by treating the planet as if it were disposable, as if extinction were inevitable. Or we can choose to be different, to be the first species that did not simply survive an extinction, but prevented one. Already, we see glimpses of this future through NASA's testing steroid defense missions. We now have treaties to limit nuclear weapons, renewable energy spreading, efforts to protect forests and oceans. But will it be enough? The story of the sixth extinction is not yet written. It is a story of science, yes, but more than that. It is a story about us, our wisdom, our mistakes, our courage. 5 times before, Earth has reset life without asking permission. But this time, the fate of the planet rests not in volcanoes or asteroids, but in human hands. So we ask the question again, do you still believe humanity is permanent? Perhaps the real answer is this: nothing is permanent. Not trilobites, not dinosaurs, not even us. But unlike all that came before, we have a choice. We can be the destroyer, or we can be the savior. The sixth extinction is not destiny, it is a decision. And the question is not whether Earth will survive. It always has. The question is, will we? If you enjoyed this journey into the past and the future, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow for more incredible journeys like this one.